Hello again. Welcome to another edition of Serving the Valley. I'm Roy Justice, and I'm going to be your guide for a few minutes with a lot of help from a friend of mine. Christy Gardner and I have known each other for at least 15 minutes.
Correct.
Welcome to our program, Christy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The topic for discussion is actually the Cedar Bend Humane Society right here in Black Hawk County, and we'll get to where it is and why it is. Christy's been there how many years?
Going on about 22 years now.
Oh, is that all?
I've served the shelter, yes.
Okay. Currently serving as the executive director and animal lover, I'm sure. Here's where I'm going to outline part of my agenda. The animal shelter that I knew from the past, having pets, that had to be either retrieved from a shelter as a lover of pets myself, or taken back to the shelter because of difficulty, either health-wise or behavior-wise. Beyond the shelter part, that's just a small part of what you do at the Cedar Bend Humane Society.
And that's correct, Roy. You know, when I first started working at the shelter, how you describe it, that was very similar to how it was. It was a very small building. We pretty much just housed stray animals for the cities, and we took in animals that people didn't want, and we adopted animals out. Now we've really grown. I mean, we're over $1 million budgeted facility. We are nonprofit, but we also serve the community in a lot of different ways through education, services, and we still do adoptions, and we hold stray animals. So,
okay. You just led me into a place to educate as far as animal care is concerned, a place to teach responsible pet ownership, very important. I wish some of my neighbors of yesteryear had observed that. A place to shelter the stray, the neglected, the unwanted animals. Shelter first, or shelter as a part of much?
you know, I think it all kind of goes hand in hand. All of those parts kind of working together equally are what pretty much make our shelter. And what we found is the cornerstone of our mission is obviously to help animals. And to help animals is to reduce intake. I mean, we're there for the stray animals, but it would be wonderful if all of those animals did not need to have a place to be sheltered.
Right. Yes.
So that's kind of, we go into the schools, we try to do education with children, we go into different working facilities, we try to get people to become involved with their shelter, where they help sponsor or support some of those homeless animals. So I think all of those components have an equally important part on making us be able to be available for the homeless animals of the community.
So again, looking at that mission statement, and we're going to examine some of those issues in more detail. And not only that, but I don't want to wait till the end of the program and try to rush this in, but you've got something that's so new, we don't even have anything to put on the screen except you to tell me about
That's
it. That's
correct.
exciting.
That's
tell me
correct.
about that.
So one of the things that we just started is a training program, which that's something we've never done before. You know, we know most of the animals that come in for adoption are usually not trained. We expect the people to adopt them to provide that after they place them into their homes. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of dogs that sometimes don't get adopted right away. Animals stay with us. Once they've been evaluated and we decide that they are adoption material, then they stay with us until they find a home. Although we don't feel that that's right, that some of those dogs sit there for 6-8 months while they wait for a home, and sometimes it's just because they're not very well behaved. They're big, they're rambunctious, they don't have any training, they don't have any commands, they jump on people, they pull on the leash. So when people come to look at those animals, they're not always that desirable to take home. Mm-hmm. Rock River in Waverly, Iowa, they offer doggy daycare, they offer boarding, and they also offer some training. Scott Dewey, he's the founder of that organization, and he has a long history of training dogs through Retrieving Freedom. He's done hunting dogs.
Oh, sure.
So he has a lot of experience, him and his team, and they offered, him and I kind of talked, and we have a partnership that it's brand new, just a couple months. They take a dog for 2 weeks that between us and them, they maybe feel is a good candidate, needs some training, maybe it's a dog that's been at the shelter for a while. They put the basics on it. You know, they put the basics. The dog knows how to walk on a leash. It knows how to sit when asked. It knows how to heel. It knows to stay, to down. Just some very basic training so that dog is a good citizen. He's reduced his training fees by over half for us. We ask donors to sponsor that.
Okay.
So as a donor, you have an opportunity to pay for that training fee for 2 weeks. We kind of show the donors on our website and on our, well, more on our Facebook site. We'll show that dog in training so people can kind of see its progress. And then a lot of those dogs get adopted straight from that facility before they even have to come back to the shelter.
Okay.
So it's really a good opportunity for those dogs to get training, and it's also a good opportunity for those animals to, or for people, if you're looking for a dog and maybe you don't have time to do all of that training, then you have a dog that has the basics. And the nice part about that is he also offers some reduced training fees classes if you adopt a new pet. He's worked with new adopters to come in and continue that training with that dog, or even offer for other people that adopt pets. So
Sounds like a great partnership.
it's a very good partnership because we put a lot of medical into our animals, but sometimes the reason those dogs specifically that do not get homes are because of the way they act.
Okay, okay. I was going to go, there's kids I know that have the same difficulty, but
I don't know if he does kids,
I see.
but you know.
Let's talk a little bit about, before we went on the air, we discussed the fact that, gosh, could have brought, a few animals along to raise havoc on the set.
Yeah.
You chose not to do that.
Yes, we did think about doing that. Sometimes they don't always cooperate, or it's sometimes stressful for them when they
Sure.
are in an environment like this. But
Right.
Our website and our Facebook page, we try to have a lot of our animals that are up for adoption. Matter of fact, with COVID, where people are restricted from coming into our facility, our marketing team has done an excellent job. Pretty much every single animal that is available for adoption is on our Facebook or our website.
Okay.
So and then there's a little bit about that animal. So adopters are more than welcome to go out there. When they find something they're interested in, then an adoption counselor, they can hook up with an adoption counselor. We've even done some live Facebook videos with people if they feel that they would like to meet the animal that way first. So we're able to place animals even if people aren't able to just freely come into our facility.
Okay. During this time, and I say this time, the time we are producing this program, things may have changed a little bit, so the website's a good place to keep up to date. You may be looking at this a few weeks or months after we have produced it. Keep in touch with Cedar Bend through that website. And they've got a phone number too.
We do.
But where are you? Physically, where are you?
We're at 1166 West Airline Highway, so we're out by the airport. And we do, if you are serious about adoption, yes, please go to our website and our Facebook page, but also reach out to us because we do set up appointments for people to come in and look at animals also. So
Okay.
although things have been restricted because of COVID, and hopefully as time goes on, we'll be able to lift some of those restrictions, but even as long as they're in place, we will make it possible for people to come out and meet that animal if they truly are interested in adopting, because that's kind of first and foremost on our agenda is to get those animals into homes.
Certainly. Okay. Now, we could have a little music in the background. We won't, but we could, as you look through some of the pictures of these cute animals that some of them may still be there. How close do you get to getting acquainted with the animals and then have to watch them go bye-bye?
Well, it's kind of a bittersweet, that's a bittersweet part of my job. First and foremost, all of us that work at the shelter, we've all fostered at one point in time or another. We're probably all foster failures also, but that's probably one of the greatest parts of our job is, we all love animals. We love to see them go into great homes. And then the people aspect, through my course of the 20-some years of working there, I've met a lot of great people, and it's still wonderful to see those people. A lot of the times they'll email or they'll stop in and they'll say, do you remember this dog? Or, do you remember this cat? So it's just really we find a good tie to our community, and we love seeing our animals, in those homes, or if we're out and about, or if we have events that we see people bring those animals to. So there's really no better feeling than that, to see that animal real happy in a home. So So that makes it a little easier when we see them walk out the door. Although we miss them, we know there's another animal right behind it that's going to need our help.
Sure.
And when you see it in a home, I mean, that's the best gift that we could ever give that animal and to that family, to know that that animal has really provided something for them.
Another fault that Roy has among the many is sometimes I don't allow enough time to talk about the people who assist you. You've got a board of directors that kind of help give some guidance to what Cedar Bend is doing. Let's give some credit to those folks right there.
You know, our facility is, our organization, you know, although I'm the executive director, there's no way I could do my job without the help of our board, our volunteers, and our staff. I mean, that group of people is a resilient, dedicated group of people that, you know, our board of directors specifically, they're all volunteers. So they give their time, they give their talents, they give their treasures, and they really support our organization. So they're our leaders of our organization, and they're always there if we need them. Sometimes during COVID or during shutdowns, they've even offered to come in and help clean kennels. Or they're able to step into an executive position if they need and kind of help do fundraisers and tours and educational pieces also. So,
A couple other things I put on my note. There's some events that need to check the website and be sure the events are still happening because of what we've been talking about. And there's also a need for volunteers. A person wants to volunteer to do what?
There's a lot of ways you can volunteer at the shelter. And we really value our volunteers. Some people just want to come in and walk the dogs. That gets them out of their kennel, that gets them outside, playing, helping keep our facility clean. Our staff consists of about 32 people. So you figure we handle close to 4,000 animals a year. You know,
Wow.
that's a lot of time that we don't always get just to play with the animals, to walk them, to exercise them. Our cat rooms, they can go in and pet the cats, brush the cats, help clean their litter boxes. You know, a lot of other things that our volunteers can do are help with events. We have events, we have different community outreach events that people ask us to come to, so they can take an animal, go to that. If your heart is kind of calls you to help educate, then a lot of the times going in and doing presentations in schools, tours at the shelter. So there's a lot of opportunities for volunteers to get involved and help the animals. You don't have to be the one that just walks the big dogs. You know, some people, don't feel comfortable doing that.
Right,
So
sure.
there's a lot of other ways you can help. We do have volunteers that even come in and do office work for us, so or help with adoptions. So there's just a huge variety of things that you could do to help the animals. So.
Okay. On a regular basis, if there is such a thing anymore, you have events that happen on certain months to help make up your calendar year. And again, to update yourself on these, check the website. But give me an example of what these events are. Like, go through a year for me.
So usually our events, you know, we usually start out in the spring. We have like our Neuter a Tomcat. That kind of helps with the free roaming cat population.
Sure.
So all the vets pull together, and for a reduced fee, they'll do barn cats and feral cats, spay and neuters. We also do that in-house. Microchipping, that's important for us. We see a lot of stray animals, especially in the warmer months running. If they have a microchip, we can always get them back to their homes. So we try to get those animals, people opportunity to get their pets microchipped at a low cost. We do different things virtually, like our online auctions, which helps us raise money that goes back into our programs, like our spay neuter and our medical programs. Our Furry 5K is a really fun event. Usually we have 200 and some people all pulled together, meet in Cedar Falls and walk around Big Woods Lake as a fundraiser. We've been able to do that virtually now last year, and we'll do it again virtually this year. Again, that supports our medical on our animals. You know, our summer foster camp for pets, a lot of times those are for our animals for people can take home. For just a break from the shelter under a foster care.
Sure.
We'll see if we're able to do that with COVID, but most of those animals, people will take them home, but then they don't come back. They end up getting adopted by those families, and that's kind of our intent. But,
Sure.
And then our biggest event of the year is our Help Us Help Them event, and that's in November. That pretty much supports our medical. We spend probably $50-some thousand a year just on treating sick and injured animals, so that helps to support that. Last year we had to do that as a virtual event, and this year we probably will do it as a virtual event, but we're really hoping we can get back to where we invite all of our supporters to that event. We have our animals there. It's a free event. People get to see what their donations have helped the animals over the year through a short video. They get to meet new animals up for adoption. They get to meet the staff. So it's a really nice event. So,
as the months roll by, again in normal conditions, are there times when you're a lot busier than other times of the year?
Usually during the warmer months, spring here coming up, we'll be hitting our puppy and kitten season. So of course we'll have an overabundance of animals coming in. We have found that, that's kind of why we sometimes pair up our spay neuter events prior to that, because if we can get some of those animals spayed and neutered prior to kitten and puppy season, we found that will help reduce some of that. But the warmer months we have a lot more animals, opposed to January, February, we're not as full as we are during the summer months.
Okay. And the donations, as far as the priority of where the donated money can best be used, how would you outline that?
So we have several different programs that, the general operations of our shelter consists of the medical. We have to put vaccinations, treat sick and injured animals that come to us. Almost every animal that comes to our shelter needs something medically,
okay.
Whether it's basic flea and tick prevention or vaccinations, or if it's been hit by a car. We also have spay and neuter. We do all of our spay and neuters in-house now, all of our adoption animals. Dr. Kemp Malik does all of those for us, so it can go for that. Facility improvement, we always have the upkeep of the kennels and bedding and food and that sort of thing for the animals. So there's just a lot of different areas that people can require their donations to go to, and all of them are probably just as important as the next.
And if persons are interested in making that donation, let's go back to where they actually can get in touch with your people at the Cedar Bend Humane Society.
And we do have online too. We have where you can do your donations online, and you can request where that donation is. Again, we talked about the program, like our training program it's called Second Chances, training program through Rock River. Some people donate for that. Some people, donate specifically, like I said before, medical and stuff. So you can specifically request what you want if you just want to do a donation online also.
Okay, so the number one need for Cedar Bend Humane Society is, fill in the blank, please.
I would just say community involvement. I just don't think there's any one area that's more important than the other. If one of our support categories falls off, or we get reduced donations, then an animal will go without because of that. So in order for us to do what we do, we kind of need that support all across the board, because all of those animals, they need medical care. All of those animals need a place to be housed. All of those animals need spayed and neutered. All of those animals need a facility, an adoption facility, so people can come in and meet them. Even ways to market our animals. We need to have a website. We need to, so all of those are just equally important in a different way to get those animals into a home.
We've been spending a few minutes without animals. In your particular case, it's just a break, right?
Exactly.
Back to the animals she will go. We'll send you about your day. And by the way, be sure to check in Cedar Bend Humane Society on their Facebook page and like them. That's a thing you're supposed to do these days, right?
And for us, if you just get on our Facebook page and share some of the animals with some of your friends, sometimes that is what helps get those animals a home. So we even recommend, if you can't come out to the shelter, if you're not in a position to adopt, just even share the animals you see on our Facebook page and help us find those animals homes.
Thank you for spending some of your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
And you as well. Until we meet next time, thanks to Christy Gardner for sharing some of her time with us. I'm Roy Justice, serving the Valley.